This is the Old Guy Network.
Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And when you do, hit that notification bell and you won't miss any of the videos. Thanks. Welcome back to the Old Guy Network. I'm the old guy, the OG, Jay, and you know who you are. Well, it is a Thursday, and I hope you're having a great start to your Thursday, wherever you happen to be. I'm right here in the trailer hood, and, things are going pretty well. I think I've established in the past video, a couple of videos back, that I'm not a master carpenter. I'm not a professional carpenter. I don't claim to be. But since I announced that, I've had some people say, well, then how can you do the stuff you're doing? I've seen you go to people's houses and work on stuff. Yeah, well, I can. I do have some knowledge. I've been doing this for a very long time. I had a wonderful teacher, my dad. My grandfather actually he owned a lumber mill. My other grandfather on my mother's side, my father's side, was a carpenter as well. So yeah, I've had some influences, and I know my way around a table saw. But that doesn't make me a carpenter, a professional carpenter. It doesn't make me a master carpenter. What it makes me basically is a handyman, and I'm good with that. I go to people's houses sometimes and I do some jobs. I just did a couple of floors a couple of weeks ago with my good friend and OG in training, Zane. I've built sheds for people. I've built counters for people. I've done a lot of stuff. I even made doors for people. So, I know my way around tools. And that's what this episode is all about. It's tools. Now, if you're a handyman or want to be a handyman or a handy woman, maybe you're thinking, gee, I want to save some money. I've got some jobs to do around the house, and I don't want to hire a guy, because if I hire a guy, then, I just give him the money and it's gone, and I have nothing to show for it. Well, except for the job that he does. However, if you can learn to do things by yourself, you can save a boatload of money. That's a fact. So what I've got today is a list of 10 tools you should start out with. 10 basic tools that everybody needs when they first start doing woodworking. Okay? These are in no particular order. So I think you should get all 10 of these all at once if you can. It would be a few $100s, but in the long run it's going to save you a lot of money. But let's start with the small ones first. A claw hammer. That is the first thing you want to buy. Everybody needs a hammer. Every once in a while you got to hit something with a hammer. So you need this. This goes right into your toolbox. That's the first thing I would buy. Secondly, this little deal here, this is called a jigsaw. It's also called a handheld scroll saw or a saber saw. That's what we used to call it when I was a kid. Now they call them jigsaws, and that's fine. Whatever they call it, this is something that you're going to need if you want to cut small pieces of wood. You want to do scroll work. You want to you're cutting some molding, and it doesn't require a big saw. You really want to have this very close by. And also, this is a circular saw. Sometimes people call this a skill saw, but remember, skill is a brand name. This is a circular saw. It's handheld. You can do a lot with this. If you have this, you can actually use this instead of a table saw. Table saws are a lot easier to use for if you're doing framing, that sort of thing, cutting a lot of boards, ripping a lot of boards. Yeah, you probably want a table saw, but you're also going to need this saw, because sometimes you can't get the table saw where you need to be, and you're only cutting a few 2x4s, or you're building a deck and you're cutting some railing. This is what you want to have. Then you want to get yourself a little tape measure. 25 footer is good. They make 50 footers, 100 footers. You can get them in different sizes. They even make as small as 6 foot, 12 foot. I actually have 2 or 3 25-foot ones, and I have one very long, I think it's 100-foot tape measure, which is, it's nice to have, but I barely ever use it. But I use the 25-footers all the time. Then you want to get yourself a level. Now, they make these in different sizes. You can get these in 8-inch, 24-inch, 12-inch, 24-inch, and 48-inch. These are very handy because we all know what a level's used for. It's to make things level. You check to see if something's level or not. But it's also a straight edge. If you got to make a straight line, this is perfect for it. One of the things I use my level for a few videos back, many videos back, I showed you that I made a bench out of a huge piece of oak, and we cut it, we ripped it with a circular saw, so it was 4 feet long, and then I took a 4-foot level and I clamped it so I could rip and cut it to the right width, which was I think 18 inches, but that doesn't matter. But the fact is, I used the level as my fence along with my circular saw so I could cut that huge piece of oak, and it worked quite nicely. So yeah, you want to have a level. The next thing we're going to need is a drill. Now, I prefer a cordless drill, but if you don't have the money for a cordless drill, because, you know, they usually cost right around $100 or more, you can get a corded drill quite cheap, but you don't always have a place where you can plug it in easily, and if you don't bring an extension cord with you, well, then you're in trouble. So a corded drill is my preferred drill to use. And you don't just use this for drilling holes. No, you can use it, you know, as a wrench. You can use it as a screw gun. You can use it for a bunch of different things. The one that I have is an 18 volt. This one pictured is only a 12 volt, but most of the new ones now are 20 volt, and we just did a video a couple of videos ago about DeWalt and Boss Stitch drills, and they were 18 and 20 volt. Nowadays they're all keyless chucks too. You don't have to have a key, so because that was the first thing you lost. So you got to have a drill. You will use it all the time. Trust me on that. Now, you're going to need a pencil, and not just any pencil. Get yourself some carpenter pencils. They are flat, and they're flat for a reason. The reason is they don't roll off. Okay? You set them down, they don't roll down the wood and land in the sawdust, and then you have to dig for them. And you know, I've got some experience in that. Get some carpenter pencils, and they make really, really good lines anyway, and you can see them. So you want to do that. Now, besides your pencil and your level, you probably want to get one of these. If you've never seen one of these, this is called a speed square. You can get these in different sizes. I have a couple of different sizes. I think one's a 12-inch, and the other one, I believe, is an 8-inch. You can get them larger and smaller. They save a lot of time. Framing squares is nice to have too, but I would get this before the framing square. I would get a speed square first. Make sure you have that in your toolbox when you first set it up. And you know, if you're going to mark lines and you're going to have things you got to cut, well, the handiest thing to have is one of these, and this is a utility knife. Utility knives are a must-have in any toolbox. For one thing, you can use the utility knife to sharpen your carpenter pencil. Do it all the time. You never know when you need a blade, and this is better than a pocket knife. Usually with this is called the classic knife. They make smaller ones now. Usually with these classic ones, there's an area inside where you can actually store the blades. So if your blade gets dull, or you chip your blade, you break your blade, you have more storage inside, and you can just put 2 or 3 blades in there, and you'll be all set. This is a must-have. You got to have one of these, no question about it. And then finally, number 10, and like I said, this is in no particular order, you're going to want, at some point, a nice table saw. Now, I'm showing a job site table saw here. This is not a shop table saw, which would be much bigger, have you know, a really nice stand, and used mostly for cabinet work and that sort of thing, and doing huge boards, large boards. The reason why I recommend the job site table saw, first of all, I have this identical saw, and I love it. I think it's great. But I take my saw, like I did with the floor, I have to take it to different places. This is very, very easy to take off the stand, stick it in the truck, bring the stand with me, and down the road I go. This one I know weighs about 50 pounds, just under 50 pounds. There's a lot of really nice table saws out there. You don't have to get a DeWalt. You can get a Bosch. You can get a Milwaukee. You can get Makita. You can get, the list goes on and on and on. Just do yourself a favor, look around. You know, YouTube is a great place to look for reviews for different saws. As a matter of fact, I even reviewed this saw, and it's the most popular video on my channel. I've got thousands and thousands of views on it, and this is the one that I have in my shop. This is the one that I take with me when I go to people's houses and do floors or whatever little handyman jobs that I'm going to be doing. And you really got to have this if you've got larger jobs. If you got something small to do, you're just, like I said before, let's say you're putting up a fence and you got to cut fence posts. Well, you can probably get away with this. But if you're doing larger jobs, if you're making a countertop, you're putting in floors, you're cutting down, I don't know. If you're doing a lot of larger things, I almost swore there. If you're doing a lot of larger things, you're going to want something with a little bit more precision and something that's a little easier to use. This would be what you want to get. So, just to recap of what you need. I was going to say these are things that you need to put in your toolbox, but you can't put a table saw in your toolbox. But a claw hammer, a circular saw, a jigsaw, tape measure, carpenter's pencils, a level, either 2 foot, 4 foot, whatever, a speed square, a drill, preferably a cordless, but if you can't, get a corded one, utility knife, and of course, a job site table saw. That's my list of 10 things you definitely got to have if you want to be a handyman or get started in carpentry, or a handy woman. Got to include you too, because there's a lot of ladies. My channel has been increasing in women viewers. It was about 4%. Now it's up to, I think, 7%, something like that. And I get some messages and some comments from some ladies who are getting into tools, who were kind of afraid of them before, but now they're starting to do more and more jobs. So that's great. I think that's wonderful. So I hope this list helps you out as well. So that's it. That's my list of 10 tools you got to have when you start doing woodworking or being a handyman. I hope that this was helpful to everyone, and I hope that you like this video. And if you did, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you subscribe to the channel. 85% of the people who watch my videos don't subscribe. You're killing me. Please subscribe. I'd like to get that up to about 25-30%. That would be awesome. It really would. So do that. And if you do subscribe, and I hope you do, hit that notification bell and you won't miss any of the videos. That's going to do it for this Thursday edition of my channel and for the Old Guy Network. I'm the Old Guy, and I'm out.